What if the reason people stopped respecting you had nothing to do with your intelligence, your kindness, or your success? What if the real reason was something you believed made you a good person? Have you ever wondered why some people become more respected the less available they are, while others give everything they have and still end up being ignored, taken for granted, or treated like an option? If you've ever felt that your kindness is being mistaken for weakness, this message might completely change the way you see yourself and the people around you. Most people think respect is something you earn by pleasing others, so they become the person who is always available. They answer every message immediately. They never say no. They sacrifice their own plans to solve everyone else's problem. At first, people appreciate it, but slowly, something changes. The appreciation disappears, the requests increase, the gratitude fades, and before long, the same people who once admired you begin expecting your time, your attention, and your energy as if they were entitled to it. The painful truth is that people often stop valuing what becomes endlessly available. Psychology offers an uncomfortable explanation. Human beings naturally value what appears limited. It's why rare things seem more desirable than common ones. This isn't just true for money or possessions. It also applies to attention, time, and emotional energy. When you become available to everyone all the time, your presence slowly loses its perceived value. Not because you became less worthy, but because your boundaries disappeared. And when boundaries disappear, respect often follows. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote that no one is truly free unless they are master of themselves. Most people misunderstand this idea. They think freedom means doing whatever they want. But the Stoics believed real freedom begins when you stop allowing other people to control your decisions, your emotions, and your peace. Every unnecessary yes spoken out of fear becomes an invisible chain. Every moment you ignore your own needs to avoid disappointing someone else quietly teaches the world that your time matters less than theirs. Carl Jung approached the problem from another direction. He believed that many people wear a social mask known as the persona, the version of themselves designed to gain approval. The persona smiles even when it's exhausted. It agrees when it wants to disagree. It hides disappointment behind politeness. Over time, the mask becomes so familiar that people forget who they really are. They stop asking, "What do I need?" and start asking, "What will make everyone else happy?" The tragedy isn't that other people fail to respect them. The tragedy is that they slowly stop respecting themselves. Look carefully at the people who command genuine respect. They are rarely rude. They are rarely arrogant, but they understand something powerful. They know that kindness without boundaries becomes permission. Compassion without limits becomes exhaustion. Generosity without wisdom becomes exploitation. They don't reject people. They simply refuse to abandon themselves to keep everyone else comfortable. Think about your own life. How many times have you agreed to something you didn't want to do? How many times have you stayed silent because speaking honestly felt uncomfortable? How many times have you answered a call, accepted an invitation, or sacrificed your peace simply because you were afraid someone might think less of you? Ironically, the more desperately we seek approval, the less respect we often receive. Because confidence isn't measured by how many people like you. It's measured by how willing you are to disappoint others in order to remain true to yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the opinion of others belongs to them, not to you. That simple idea has the power to change an entire life. The moment you stop chasing validation, your decisions become clearer. Your relationships become healthier. Your confidence becomes quieter but stronger. People begin respecting you, not because you demanded it, but because you finally demonstrated that you respect yourself. Here's a challenge. For the next 7 days, notice every moment you feel guilty for saying no. Instead of apologizing immediately, pause. Ask yourself one honest question. Am I protecting this person's comfort or my own peace? Then pay attention to the answer. It may reveal a pattern you've been living with for years. Respect doesn't begin when other people change. It begins when you stop negotiating your own worth. The greatest philosophers never taught people how to control others. They taught people how to control themselves. Because the moment you value your own time, others begin valuing it too. The moment you protect your peace, people learn not to disturb it carelessly. And the moment you stop giving unlimited access to everyone, you remind the world that your presence is a privilege, not an obligation. The goal is not to become cold. The goal is not to become distant. The goal is to become someone whose kindness has wisdom, whose compassion has boundaries, and whose respect begins from within. Because the people who respect themselves the most rarely need to ask anyone else for respect. They naturally inspire it. And perhaps that's the kind of person you were always meant to become. If this message resonated with you, comment, respect, begins with me. And subscribe to the Human Code, where psychology, philosophy, and self-mastery reveal the hidden patterns shaping your life.